Definition of pure devotional service from the Nectar of Devotion book. Chapter is Art of Eternal Love. The authorized descriptions of bhakti or devotional service, following in the footsteps of previous acharyas, can be summarized in the following statement by Srila Rupa Goswami. First class devotional service is known by one's tendency to be fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, serving the Lord favorably. The purport is that one may also be in Krishna consciousness unfavorably, but cannot be counted as pure devotional service. Pure devotional service should be free from desire for any material benefit or for sense gratification, as these desires are cultivated through fruitive activities and philosophical speculation. Generally, people are engaged in different activities to get some material profit. While most philosophers are engaged in proposing transcendental realization through volumes of word jugglery and speculation. Pure devotional service must be always free from such fruitive activities and philosophical speculations. One has to learn Krishna consciousness or pure devotional service from the authorities by spontaneous loving service. So all of the philosophy is there in this page. So normally people think philosophy means, oh, I should not eat meat or I should not gamble. Yes, those are all preliminary requirements. Otherwise, you are not even entering that building where this is being taught. Right? And that's why 99% of the world's population can never be into real devotion, because they break these regulative principles like no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication, like drinking, marijuana, those kind of things. But once somebody crosses that limit, then comes devotional service. Until then, you are not devotee. You are like licking the bottle of honey from outside. Right? No matter how much you lick the glass bottle of honey, you will not taste honey because you are just in the outside. To enter means opening the lid, putting a spoon, taking some honey out and putting in your mouth. Then you will taste the real honey. So therefore, one has to, of course, give up those bad habits if they want to be devotee at all. And then this subject matter makes sense. For the vast majority of the world, it won't make sense because they are breaking these principles, regulative principles, as they are called, dharmic principles. Right? Even Buddhists, they will serve pork to Buddha, alcohol to Buddha, and then eat and drink. Why? Because they want to eat and drink, they think Buddha will also eat. But Buddha is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why would he eat? He will say, you rascals, you rot in this material world for a longer time. So now let's talk about pure devotion. So that the basics are required. If the basics are not there, then no amount of philosophy will help you. One will still go to hell if they don't follow the basic principles. I'm not saying this. Scriptures are saying this, and Lord Krishna is saying this. Right? Krishna only eats patram pushpam phalam toyam. He says patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. Only fruit, leaf, water, anything from the vegetable kingdom he consumes. So we only consume what Krishna consumes because we don't want to violate the principles of dharma as laid down by him. So assuming we do all those things, then comes this. So serving the Lord favorably. What that does mean? It means that you can also serve the Lord unfavorably. So just like serving pork and whiskey to Buddha and then consuming that, right? Calling it Buddha Prasadam. That because this rascal wants to eat pork, he will think Buddha will also eat pork. But what did Buddha say? Ahimso paramadharmaha. Ahimsa. That is the paramadharma. So how can you eat? And Buddha himself is saying, don't eat, Baba. I mean, you can eat, but you'll take birth again. You'll come back again and again and again because you violated dharmic principles. Till such time we purify ourselves, we'll be taking birth again and again and again and again. And some people are okay with that. They are okay with suffering every lifetime because life is suffering. You have to worry about bills, education, kids' education. Should I stay in this house or that house? Life is all lot of decisions and confusion. It is not intended to be like that. They're supposed to be like free birds. But then we are bogged down by all this unnecessary artificial needs. Artificial needs. So favorably means like Krishna wants. If Krishna wants something, we have to do it according to his requirements. And where do you find his requirements? Anybody know?
In the Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, precisely. Right? That is a book by Krishna for our purpose, for our purification. That's it. So he'll talk about karma yoga, jnana yoga, this yoga, that yoga. Finally says bhakti yoga is the best. And even better than that, it just simply surrender to me. I will take care of all of your papa and give you liberation. Sarva dharman parityajya means give up all the types of dharmas. Mother dharma, father dharma, employee dharma. Mamekam sharanam vraja. Take shelter of me. Sharanam. And then aham tuam sarva papebhyo means I will take away all your papa sins. Mokshisyami masuchaha. I'll give you liberation. So Christians also have the similar concept. Oh yeah, God takes away all our papa. But what is the problem with Christians or Hindus or Muslims is they will continue to do papa. And they'll say, keep on taking my papa, my Lord. And at some point, the Lord will get sick and tired of this. He'll say, get out. You deal with your own papa and you take multiple lifetimes to realize that papa or sin. But Krishna says, if you surrender to me, I'll take away your papa. 18.66, chapter 18, verse 66. So it is there. If you want to understand the principles of devotion, then you have to refer to the book or basically the poem that Krishna recited. All the secrets are in there. Of course, 5,000 years ago, people had excellent memory. Guru would teach Bhagavad Gita. The disciples would immediately assimilate it. So it's called Eka Sandagrahi. Means Eka, once. One time they hear, everything will get into their heads. And we are 500 Sandagrahi. It has to be told to us 500 times before this thing enters our head. Agreed or not? Anybody has a position or anybody has a estimate for how many times it has to be told before it gets into the head?
Usually multiple times, but I don't know if there is a count, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Well, we have been discussing the same topic for at least a couple of years now. But we forget. As soon as the class is finished, we forget, right? So my estimate is at least 500 times it has to be told before it gets in. It's not a question of intelligence or smartness. It's a question of willingness to listen to Krishna's instructions, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the Hindus say, yeah, Krishna, Krishna. But if you look at their lifestyle, how much of the instruction are they following? Forget Muslims and Christians, they have no idea. But even Hindus, how much are they following? What percentage are they following? Maybe 2 or 3% of Bhagavad Gita they follow in their day-to-day life. But that's not the pass mark. You have to at least pass 70, follow 70%. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will add some grace marks and then he'll push you on the border. Then you are pass. You have to follow some percentage, right? It's not, I'll follow 2% and I want 98% grace mark. You know the concept of grace marks? Nobody knows what grace marks are? If a student is on verge of failing, the teacher will add a couple of points just to push him on the boundary and say, okay, pass, go to next class. Next grade. So that's called a grace mark. It's their grace. They're saying, okay, I know you failed, but I will just add a couple of points and push you through the boundary so that you can go to next grade. But if you rely exclusively on grace marks, it's not going to work out. We have to put in our effort. So you can serve Krishna favorably or you can serve him unfavorably. So example of who served Krishna unfavorably, anybody know? Jaypal Prabhu?
Bhishma?
No, he did favorably.
He was a very good devotee, right?
He's devotee, but he was fighting. That he was shooting arrows on him.
No. He was just playing a role. He had to support
Right.
Duryodhana from the opposite side, but he is a pure devotee. Okay, who else? Who served Krishna unfavorably? Starts with a K. Huh?
Kans.
Yes, Kans. Kans followed the principle of Bhagavad Gita, Manmana Bhav Mad Bhakto. Always think of me in the mind. Even more than devotees, he used to always think, this Krishna is so dangerous, this Krishna is so bad, I will kill Krishna, I will trouble Krishna, why is Krishna troubling me? In this way, 24/7, he used to think of Krishna. Even in the dreams, he used to get Krishna. Krishna came and like fought with him, like that. He used to get dreams. So he was Krishna conscious, highly Krishna conscious. Only problem is he was unfavorable. He used to think Krishna as an enemy, not as a friend, not as object of love, but object of hatred. So you can think of Krishna favorably or unfavorably, or you can totally forget Krishna, like the vast majority of the population right now. Right? Regardless of religious beliefs, they have totally forgotten God. So we should not serve Krishna unfavorably, better to serve him favorably. And it's very easy to serve him favorably. It is not so complex, right? Whatever you cook, you offer to Krishna, eat that as prasadam. And Krishna only eats patram pushpam phalam toyam yoma bhakta prayachti. It is there. We already covered that a few chapters ago. So favorable service to Krishna. It's very simple actually. Every day take his name, chant a set of rounds. Whatever you cook, you offer to the Lord. Eat that as prasadam, mahaprasadam. Go to the temple once a day or establish a home temple. Go to Tirtha Sthans like Mathura, Vrindavan, Mayapur. Read Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita every day. That's it. You are Krishna conscious. You cannot avoid it. You'll only be talking of Krishna once you do all these things, right? Because 3 times a day when you offer to Krishna, you're talking about Krishna. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, you are talking about Krishna, hearing about Krishna. So you cannot be but Krishna conscious. That is favorable Krishna conscious. Or you can take the Kans path and start taking Krishna's words and then attacking him. That's also Krishna consciousness, but unfavorable. Better to be favorable. Favorable is easy. Unfavorable is more difficult actually. And then Prabhupada continues, pure devotional service should be free. So free of what? Material benefit or sense gratification? You don't go to Krishna and pray, oh, give me a big house, give me a big car, my business should be successful. That anyhow you'll get according to your past karma. You cannot avoid it. Now all the Ukrainians are getting the result of their past karma. Somebody came and attacked them. Now they are all fleeing to Poland. Large number of people got into their cars, traffic jam. They're all trying to escape to Poland. What can you do? What can anybody do? America is a very powerful nation. Could it stop? No. Nobody is powerful actually. We are all helpless. So that's how it is. We should not ask Krishna for some benefit. Krishna, look, for last 10 years I've been chanting Hare Krishna. How is it that Muhammad bin Tughlaq got promoted in my office? No, that fellow doesn't even chant. Or how Robert Meshew got promoted. That fellow doesn't even chant. How come I'm chanting and I'm not getting promoted? Right? Our mind is naturally thinking like that. But then that is, we should not ask for any material benefit from Krishna. Although it is our natural tendency. Look, Krishna, I have been your devotee for 10 years. Give me a 6-bedroom home in Samamish. Krishna will say, do you want the home or do you want me? Pick one. You cannot have both. You can have either God or God's property. That's it. You cannot have both. Although in certain circumstances, like Maharaj Ambarish, he was the ruler of entire earth planet. So Saptadvipa Mahapati means of all the 7 islands: North America, South America, Asia, Europe, Antarctica, and whatever that 6th other continent is. Right? So he was the king of entire earth planet. So in special cases, Krishna will give you extreme wealth. But in general, he doesn't, because why doesn't he give extreme wealth to devotees? Anybody know?
So that they can successfully and like be able to like
Yeah.
and
If Krishna gives too much money, he'll become proud and then we'll stop worshipping him. Right? So money is actually a dangerous thing for a devotee. Because money anybody can have. You know, total rascals have money in this material world. Right? But very few people have devotion to Krishna. So Krishna says, okay, this money is actually stopping you from worshipping me. So I'll take it away. So that's why in general, devotees are poor. In general. Like Maharaj Ambarish, special case. Janak Maharaj, Sita Devi's father, special case. Right? In general, devotees are poor because Krishna keeps them that way. If you become very wealthy, you will forget Krishna. And he doesn't want that to happen. That danger should not happen to you as a devotee. So in general, he'll keep tabs on you, and whatever material plans you make, those will be broken. For devotees, many of the material plans don't succeed. For normal, some rascal who never chants, it will succeed. And then you'll be bewildered. Array, I am chanting and he is getting rich. How is this happening? So you have to understand that is by design. That is by design. Krishna has designed it that way. So there's no point in asking for material benefit. And second is sense gratification. Means desire to satisfy the tongue by eating KFC chicken or Burger King or Ruth Chris Steakhouse. All these things, they may be pleasing to the tongue, but then they'll take you to hell, because it's like you're eating a dead animal, right? That's not good for you spiritually. So that is one kind of sense gratification. Second is illicit sex, always running after men or women to either have sex or mentally contemplate or think about that activity, right? Like average TV show or movie, all the focus is on that. Somehow or the other, there's a temptation created in the mind of an audience to think and perform sexual activity. That's why we have to be very careful what we watch. Watching movies is actually detrimental to health. So that is sense gratification. Satisfying your tongue, satisfying your body, like that. Then Prabhupada says, generally, people are engaged in different activities to get some material profit, which is 100% of the world. 100%. Even devotees do that. The only thing is devotees do a little bit less. That's all. Right? Devotees also buy two homes. They also have multiple cars. They also want some material profit. They invest here and there. Some of them succeed, some of them fail miserably. Investments. So general, and these people are called karmis. Karmi means somebody who does karma for material profit. Second is philosophers engaged in proposing realization. These are jnanis. Jnani means somebody who tries to pursue knowledge, to understand the world through knowledge, not through Krishna, but through knowledge. So, pure devotional service should be free from such fruitive activities, means with material profit. Anything that generates material profit or a fruit is called fruitive. Fruit. See, you get a fruit from a plant. Fruitive means something that generates some fruit or result or benefit, material benefit. And philosophical speculation. Maybe the world is like this, maybe the world is like that. If you open the newspaper, they say, oh yeah, we have Mars rover, maybe going to Mars, this is what we'll achieve. Oh, we went to the moon and this is what we found. All they found was some rocks, right? There's nothing, there's no life on moon. And they spent what? In between 1960 and 1980, they spent like $60 billion, which in today's money is like maybe $400 billion. Billion with a B, not million, but 1,000 million is 1 billion. To do what? Or to find out something about the moon. And what did they get? A few rocks there, which are there in museum right now. So what did they achieve? A few rocks. So this is all speculation. Oh, maybe I'll go to moon, I'll get this, I'll get this. All that knowledge is there in scriptures. Just follow that. Life will be good. So then Prabhupada continues, one has to learn Krishna consciousness from authorities by spontaneous loving service. This is very important. Love should be there, service should be there, and it should be spontaneous. Means it should not be forced. I have to chant. Or, I have to go to temple. No, you should want to do that. It should be loving, but it should be spontaneous. It should automatically come out of you. We have to train ourselves in such a way. Not like, oh, I have to go to temple, or I have to chant, no, or I have to go to Bhagavad Gita class. It should be spontaneous. It should be like, oh, I love going to Bhagavad Gita class. I love going to temple. I love doing chanting of the holy name. Otherwise, again, it becomes lower level devotion. Right? It's very difficult to make a devotee. You all have been coming for at least 2-3 years. Some of you have been coming for 5-6 years. And you don't have to answer this, but you know within the heart how much of devotee you are. Is it 5% devotee, 10% devotee? Surely not more than 10% in all of our cases. Lot of work left. Because we don't have spontaneous attraction for Krishna. So as you can see in this one paragraph, Prabhupada packed so much information. Any thoughts, questions?
Prabhuji,
Hmm.
two questions. One is more examples of unfavorable.
Why do you want to know unfavorable? Like, if I give you
No, because
Rasgulla,
you gave,
no, 1 minute.
yeah,
If I give you Rasgulla, Gulab Jamun, Peda, Rasmalai, and then you're going to ask me about, oh, Prabhuji, where can I get poison?
no, Prabhu, because one example you gave was about guns, but I want to know the actual meaning unfavorable because
Okay.
there are so many.
If you are really ready, yeah, if you are really ready for the answer, I'll give it to you. But then you should not get mad with me.
No, Prabhu.
Okay, what we are all doing is unfavorable devotional service.
Oh, everybody. Okay. In what way, Prabhu?
In what way?
Why is that?
Yeah, why is that? We are not following instructions of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna has set out some clear instructions. How much are we following? We are only following a few percentage, 5%, 10%. That's it. Favorable means according to Krishna's standard, not according to my standard. Like I go to temple when I want to go, right? But when does Krishna want us to come to temple? Mangalarti time between 4:30 and 5:30 a.m.
Yeah, now I understood. Yes.
So we are not.
But we don't say anything wrong about Krishna, no? Like,
Yeah, so there is a different gradations. Kans is extreme. We cannot even be like Kams. Kams is like extremely hatred of Krishna, right? Thank God we are not like Kans. But we are not fully spontaneously loving Krishna either.
yeah.
Yeah, got it, Prabhu. Now understood.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned about the poem, Prabhu. What was that poem you said? It's everything is in the poem.
Gita. Yeah.
I don't remember now. When I remember, I'll tell you. Yeah, I mean, there are so many poems Acharyas have written. Go to kksongs.org. There are a lot of ways you can worship the Lord through a number of poems, thousands of poems, matter of fact, if you go to kksongs.org. But regardless, yeah, I mean, this is very hard to swallow, but we are part-time devotees, right? We are doing according to our convenience, not according to Krishna's convenience. Of course, there's certain things we are doing, like Janmashtami day, we come promptly to temple. Prasadam Seva, we are very prompt. Even if we forget all other Seva, Prasadam Seva, we never forget. So yeah, I mean, Krishna's standard is in the Bhagavad Gita. It is very difficult to follow the Bhagavad Gita. It is possible, but not so easy. There are people who live by the Bhagavad Gita, the principles, right? Even today, a few people, not a whole lot. So yeah, we can. I mean, we don't have to be like Mayus or dejected, right? We have to say, okay, I will improve myself and come to that standard. It's okay not to be at the standard, but eventually we should come to that standard. If not, we'll take birth again continue a little bit. So some people will do like 0.5% every life. So if you do 0.5% every life, it will take 200 lifetimes to purify. Some people do 20% every life, so 5 lifetimes. Some people do 50% every life, so 2 lifetimes. Choice is always there. It's up to you. Like spontaneously means what? Who is here? He is like Mirabai, right? Spontaneously thinking the writing poems for on Lord Krishna, right? If you look at acharyas, they used to spontaneously think about Krishna. Where are we? Nowhere. But it's okay. We are in the slow boat, slow program. Maybe it will take us 200 lifetimes. So we have to come to that conviction that Krishna is the Supreme Personality. I have to serve him. Like there are people, right? Like Raswati Mataji, she left her family in Fiji. She came to be a pujari in the Seattle temple, never went back. She works 365 days a year, no vacation. In office, we get 2 days off, Saturday and Sunday. But in temple, there's no vacation. Every day Krishna has to eat, so she has to cook. She has to cook for Krishna, and then she cooks in large quantities for the devotees. Like that, there are people who have developed that taste to serve Krishna continuously. So we have to learn from them. Yad yad acharati shreshtas tatta devataro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastat anuvartate. It is there in the 4th chapter, I believe. Yeah. So yad yad acharati shreshtas. If somebody like our role model follows something, tatta devataro janaha, common jana means people, janaha, common people will follow. Another term for common people is prajaha. So we have to follow in their footsteps to learn something. If not, we again start all over again next lifetime, following lifetime, like this to keep on going. A smart person doesn't let an opportunity go away wasted. We got the opportunity, let's finish the journey in this lifetime only. But if you waste, nobody's going to stop you. You can still waste. Or you can become like comes extreme, other side. That is also okay by Krishna. He'll give you liberation, but he won't give you love of Krishna. Okay, any thoughts, comments? So essence of bhakti is acting for Krishna. Means you have to act physically with your hands and legs. You cannot say, I'm thinking of Krishna in my mind. Yes, you should think of Krishna in the mind, but your hands and legs should be working for Krishna. Like tomorrow morning, we are going to the Arlington farm to work for the cows, build a fence. Right? Everybody is welcome to come and join. We will leave somewhere between 9 and 9:30 tomorrow morning from temple. Okay, Gopal, read this purport, the devotion.
The devotional service is sort of cultivation. It is not simply inaction for people who like to be inactive or devote their time to silent meditation. There are many different methods for people who want this, but cultivation of Krishna consciousness is different. The particular word used by Srila Rupa Goswami in this connection is Anushilana, or cultivation by following the preceders, teacher, acharyas. As soon as we say cultivation, we must refer to the activity. Without activity, consciousness alone cannot help us. All activities can be divided into two classes. One class may be for achieving a certain goal, and other may be for avoiding some unfavorable circumstance. In Sanskrit, these activities are called pravritti and nivritti, positive and negative action. there are many examples of negative action. For instance, a deceased person has to be cautious and take medicine in order to avoid making his illness worse. Those who are cultivating spiritual life and executing devotional service are always engaged in activity. Such activity can be performed with the body or with the mind. Thinking, feeling, and willing are all activities of the mind. And when we will to do something, the activity comes to manifest by the gross bodily senses. Thus, in our mental activities, we should always try to think of Krishna and try to plan how to please him, following in the footsteps of the great acharyas and the personal spiritual master. There are there are activities of the body, activities of mind, and activities of speech. Krishna conscious person engages his words in preaching the glories of the Lord. This is called kirtana, and by his mind a Krishna conscious person always thinks of activities of the Lord. As he is speaking on the battlefield of Kurukshetra or engaging his various pastimes in Vrindavana with his devotees. In this way, one can always think of activities and pastimes of the Lord. This is the mental culture of Krishna consciousness.
Okay. So
Similarly, we
what is your
can
understanding?
hear this purport explaining cultivation of spiritual activity, like always thinking of Krishna and focus on favorable things and avoid unfavorable actions.
Yeah, but
And while doing
main thing is this purport is what?
activity, always engage in activity.
Activity for Krishna, not general activity, like doing a barbecue. That is general activity. This activity is for Krishna, right?
Thinking of Krishna always.
Thinking of Krishna, body should work for Krishna. That is the essence of bhakti. So that is why Harilas Maharaj just creates a lot of activities for us. This festival, this farm, that farm. Because when you have activity, you are always thinking of Krishna. When you don't have activity, you think you are thinking of Krishna, but then you are thinking of something else. Mind will just trick you and take you somewhere else. I don't need to tell you. You all know this. Mind will trick you. So essence is activity for Krishna. Preaching is kirtana. Talking about Krishna is kirtana. We are all doing now kirtana for this 1 hour. And with the mind, if you do it, it's called smarana. If you hear, it is called shravana. That is why Prahlad Maharaj says, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Those are the three main things. Shravanam, hearing about the Lord, like you are all doing, we are all doing, hearing from Prabhupada. Kirtanam, glorifying the Lord. Vishnu Smaranam, thinking in the mind of the Lord. That's it. With these three things, you can go back to Godhead. If you do it properly. And it has to be without any material motive like we read in the previous purport. Because anytime you have like some expectation of result, then it messes up. Like for example, wife cooks 5 or 6 varieties for the husband. And the husband comes to sit for dinner. She says, okay, give me your salary, then you can eat. Then the husband will think, my wife cooked for the salary, not for love of me. Right? So it gets all spoiled. The emotion gets spoiled. Of course, If you feed your husband nicely, he will give you the salary. What is he going to do? Throw it in out of the window? No, he'll still give you that. But that is not the goal. That is not the reason for you to serve Krishna. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't come, doesn't come. But you still have to continue to serve Krishna without that material motive. So last purport, we talked about two dangers, right? One is material motive, some expectation of benefit from Krishna. Second is sense gratification. Once you get the benefit, you want to gratify senses in a very illegal way. Like eating dead animals, that's one illegal way. Drinking putrefied, bad liquids like alcohol. What is beer, by the way? You take away all the hops and you take away all the leftover wheat, berries, put in a big vessel, pour water, and let it stink. Let it degenerate. When you degenerate, small bubbles will come out. So what they do, they clarify that, bottle it, and sell it to you. So it is degenerated wheat. That is beer. Right? So, and we think, oh, that's so great. Dead animals and degenerated wheat is the staple food of many people. Both are bad. So that is sense gratification. Inability to control the tongue by eating meat, inability to control by drinking wine, whiskey, beer, inability to control your eyes by watching movies, inability to control your ears by hearing nonsense. Oh, this fellow's wife said like that, that fellow's husband said like that. General topics, meaningless topics, right? Inability to control the skin by having too much sex. Sex is required for procreation, for having kids. But beyond that, it is considered a waste of time. So only two things. One is sense gratification. Second is material benefit from the Lord. So we have to do activity without expectation of those two things. Then it becomes pure bhakti. Done. End of chapter, end of topic. Okay, continue, Gopal.
The cultivation of Krishna consciousness.
No, similarly,
We can offer many services with our bodily activities, but all such activities must be in relationship with Krishna. The relationship is established by connecting oneself with bona fide spiritual master, who is the direct representative of Krishna in disciplic succession. Therefore, the execution of Krishna conscious activities with the body should be directed by spiritual master and then performed with faith. The connection with spiritual master is called initiation. From the date of initiation by the spiritual master, the connection between Krishna and a person cultivating Krishna consciousness is established. Without initiation, a bona fide spiritual master, the actual connection with Krishna consciousness is never performed.
yeah, pause there for a moment.
The cultivation.
So I am initiated, but I don't think any of the other people on the call are initiated into a, maybe Priya Mataji and her husband are. They took initiation from the Guru in Vrindavan. So unless you are initiated, your connection with Krishna has not started. So you have to quickly come to the platform of, yes, I want to be initiated. And it's not like anything, you lose anything by getting initiation. You will only gain something. So you should all consider quickly getting initiated. Okay, next.
The cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Okay. Similarly, we can offer.
No, you finish that cultivation.
Sorry. Yeah, the cultivation of Krishna consciousness is not material. The Lord has three general energies, namely the external energy, the internal energy, and marginal energy. The living entities are called marginal energy, and the material cosmic manifestation is the action of external or material energy. Then there is a spiritual world, which is a manifestation of internal energy. The living entities who are called marginal energy perform material activities when acting under the inferior external energy. And when they engage in activities under the internal spiritual energy, their activities are called Krishna consciousness. This means that who are great souls or great devotees do not act under the spell of material energy, but act instead under the protection of spiritual energy. Any activities done in devotional service or in Krishna consciousness are directly under the control of spiritual energy. In another words, energy is sort of strength, and this strength can be spiritualized by the mercy of both bona fide spiritual master and Krishna. In Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Lord Chaitanya states that it is fortunate. It states that is a fortunate person who come in contact with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. To one who is serious about spiritual life, Krishna gives the intelligence to come into contact with a bona fide spiritual master. And then by the grace of spiritual master, one becomes advanced in Krishna consciousness. In this way, the whole jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness is directly under the spiritual energy, Krishna and the spiritual master.
Yeah. So this is a very important point. The whole jurisdiction, this is a legal term, means the whole area of Krishna consciousness is directly under the spiritual energy. And spiritual energy is coming from Krishna and the Guru. Guru Krishna prasade paye bhakti lata bij. By the mercy of Guru and Krishna, the prasad of bhakti, bhakti lata, means it's like a creeper of devotion. It is given into us, and then gradually we nurture it, cultivate it, and then totally come under the spiritual energy. If you see, Srila Prabhupada starts this paragraph with, devotional service is sort of cultivation. Right? Cultivation. When you cultivate in the field, what do? You put seeds, you pour water, you give fertilizers, you remove the weeds, you prune the trees. We all do this, right? In our backyard. The devotional service is also like that. You have to cultivate it. It's not like automatic. You have to every day pour some water by chanting the holy name. You have to remove the weeds by getting rid of our bad habits. You have to give fertilizer by reading Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So this is also sort of cultivation. Then the creeper of devotion will gradually grow in our hearts. And there'll come a point when this creeper becomes very strong that even if there is a tornado, nobody can disturb that creeper. It will just keep on growing and growing. Initially, though, you have to put some extra effort. Otherwise, the creeper will die. I've seen so many people, big devotees, they kind of stopped devotion. Why? Because they did not nurture, take care of this gentle creeper called devotional service. And it is not devotion. Anybody can pretend devotion. It is devotional service, means seva. You have to physically do it. Like all of you should go to the kitchen and wash dishes in the temple, right? Physical seva, or clean the floor, or go to the farm and work. Anybody can pretend, fold their hands and says, "Hey Bhagavan, aap mahan ho," like that. That's just like poetry. Real devotional service means, how much are you working for Krishna? Okay, any questions, thoughts? Okay, so let's stop recording and chant Hare Krishna.